Owners' meetings in Florida are solely based on the fact that Commissioner Manfred lives in Florida. I never had one winter owners meeting in Florida. Maybe one after Rob took over. But Bud Selig, the previous commissioner, his winter place was in Arizona, which means that every owners meeting in January was in Arizona. Of course, at a hotel owned by one of the owners, a guy named Bob Castellini. I can't remember the name of the hotel he owns, but that's where the owners meetings always were once he bought the Reds. And he had a good place. It's like near the mountain, near Camelback Mountain, and everyone's there, and everyone's upset because Castellini jacks up the prices for the hotel while you go there. Yes, you have to pay for your hotels. So this past owners meeting this week was in Palm Beach, right near Rob. The January, February owners meetings are an interesting one because you've got owners who all believe, no matter what their team is, whether you're the Tigers, the Royals, or the Mets or the Padres, they're all walking around because they're in first place. They're feeling good about themselves. They haven't lost any games yet. There's still the hope of spring training. Even if they shouldn't have hope, they do have hope. And so that is where you feel the most equal at that meeting. Artie Moreno is an owner who doesn't go to many owners' meetings. He did go to this one in Florida, and he spoke to the press because he's got the number one story in baseball. It's the number one story today. It'll be the number one story on opening day. It'll be the number one story at the All-Star break. It'll be the number one story at the trade deadline. It'll be the number one off-season story. Hard stop. Shohei Ohtani and where Shohei Ohtani is going to go, if anywhere. That is the number one story of the baseball season. There are a bunch of other stories like the Mets having a Super Bowl commercial and the Padres having the second highest payroll or third highest payroll behind the Yankees and Mets with a market like that and everyone congratulating them and bowing toward them. Of course, nobody in the owners' meetings are doing that. They're looking at Peter Seidler like he's Cyclops. The media gets to go to a place at these owner meetings and they get one area. And it's a cordoned off area in the lobby, and they sit there, and you as a president can choose to walk past them. You can choose to avoid them. If you have something you want to get out, you can go past them, and then they'll stop you, and you can say a few words. After the final meeting is done, the meetings are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Rob Manfred meets the media and talks about what went on during the meeting. All of that's normal. Artie Moreno speaking to the press is not normal, but he did, and he said something that Los Angeles Angels fans of Anaheim, you should be super pumped about. You should look at him as your owner and say, this is not business as usual. I know that he tried to sell and we were ecstatic, and then he didn't get his price, so he didn't, even though he claims he wants to win a World Series for you, the fans, because that's all he cares about, and he hasn't lost the baseball fever. When you heard what he said yesterday, you ought to stand up at the top of the mountain and yell and scream from Space Mountain and say, yes! He said, I'd like to keep Ohtani. I can't. Coke, I can't keep a straight face. I really can't. Artie Moreno saying that I'd like to keep Ohtani is like me saying I'd like to keep my heart. Of course. What, you don't want to keep Ohtani? You think you're going to tell your fans, yeah, you know, he's fine, but we're ready to move on. Don't be ridiculous. I think Artie Moreno should have gone into the owners' meeting, and they all had their phones, and they're all looking at Steve Cohen's Super Bowl ad. I think Artie Moreno should have called his marketing department, and he should have called his chief financial officer. He should have called his investment advisor and said, I have an idea. I'm going to do a Super Bowl ad. I'm going to spend $7 million, and for 30 seconds, it's going to be zero production cost. I'm going to have a microphone in front of me, and I'm just going to, hi, my name's Artie Moreno, and I'd like to keep Shohei Ohtani. For tickets, please call 1-800-ANAHEIM Angels. As though buying more tickets will help him keep Shohei Ohtani. As if improving or increasing or helping the brand will help him keep Shohei Ohtani. What does that mean? He didn't stop there. He's one of a kind. He's a great person. Who cares? He's obviously one of the most popular baseball players in the world, an international star. Are you his agent? He's a great teammate. True. He works hard. I would think, given that he's the top of the rotation pitcher and the middle of the order bat, I would say he works hard. He's a funny guy. What do you think, Shohei Ohtani and Artie Moreno are sitting around telling jokes in the clubhouse? No. He has a really good rapport with the fans. Who's talking? Is it Artie Moreno or Shohei's agent? I would always tell our owner, do me one favor. Try not to increase the value of an impending free agent by anything you say during the course of a year. Please. We tell our baseball department the same thing. Here's who we want to increase the value of. Prospects we want to trade and players we want to trade. That's it. Players we want to sign, we want to let everybody know that they stink. God, that sounds sort of harsh, doesn't it? It's not harsh. It's just true. You're trying to get players as cheaply as possible. Why not? There's no getting around the cost of Shohei Ohtani. There's nothing Artie Moreno can say or do. And here's the best part. Shohei Ohtani re-signing with the Anaheim Angels will have nothing to do with whether he's a funny guy, whether he's a good teammate, a great person, a popular baseball player. It'll have nothing to do with that. It'll have to do with where does Shohei Ohtani want to play? Because he's going to have not one, not two, but three teams bidding for him. Now, there could be secret teams, the mystery team. But realistically, if he's going to get $50 million a year, which is quite likely that he's going to get, there's three teams. Dodgers, Mets, Angels. That's it. We're going to see some amazing quotes throughout the course of this year. And Artie Moreno is off to what I would consider to be a fantastic start. Hi, my name's David Samson. I'd like to keep Shohei Ohtani.